Alrighty, Allie and T, you can take it away.
Okay, so I'll do my introduction first. My name is Tiaja, or just T. I'm a senior at Cedar Crest College. I'm studying to get my dual degree in psychology and biology, and obviously I'm an admissions ambassador here helping with the tour.
Hi guys, my name is Allie. I am a junior here at the college studying both forensic science and biology. A little bit of the things that I do on campus include I am a field hockey teammate as well as part of the swim team on campus. I am of course an admissions ambassador as well as a resident advisor.
So to get this tour started, we're going to start off in Blaney Hall, which is the hall that you see on your screen right now. When Cedar Crest first moved to its location, this was actually the first building on campus. So this is where all of the students went to class, ate, slept, did everything pretty much. And so as we go through the tour, you'll kind of see how the campus has expanded since then. As of now, it serves as our administration building on campus. So it houses our Office of Admissions for traditional students, as well as our office, that's the School of Adult and Graduate Education. The Financial Services Office and the Cashier's Office are in this building as well. And it also has the Love Center for Community Service down in the bottom of the building. So if community service is something that you're interested in, this building is where you would go to speak to Tammy Bean. She's in charge of that program. So pretty much anything like administrative, like office-wise, would be in this building.
So now heading over into the quad, I'm sure as you could see as Brittany was scrolling through Blaney, you could see all of our beautiful trees. Our college is a national arboretum. And what that kind of means is that our college is basically like a walking museum. So being on campus every day, you get to walk around, see all the trees, and really live amongst them and get to spend time in these awesome outdoor areas. As you can see in the photo pictured, this is an awesome spot when it's nice out to sit down and study and hang out with friends and enjoy that time on campus in our awesome outdoor community. Some other things about the quad that happens is we have community engagement opportunities. So we have Mayfair, and a lot of our students like to volunteer at that event. It is kind of like an arts festival, so there are vendors as well as musicians and artists and all of that fun stuff, which occurs in the summertime. Some things that we do in the quad while our students are on campus in the academic school year is we will have our student activities board do things like game night. So we'll have lawn games out there. There's glow-in-the-dark bowling sometimes they hold in the quad. And it's really just a good space for students to hang out. It's located in the center of 3 of our resident hall buildings. So it's really an awesome space. Some other things that I wanted to touch on while we were in this space was, of course, virtually in this space, was our mailroom and our campus police that we have on our campus. So the way that our mailroom works is that you will have something similar to a P.O. box. So when you move in, or even if you're a commuter, when you check in on that first day, you will get a key for that box, and you can send out packages or mail, as well as receive it on our campus. When we talk about campus police, I just wanted to have a little overlay just to let you guys know that we are the safest campus in the Lehigh Valley. But with that being said, we do, of course, have campus police officers on our campus specifically for our campus and our students, faculty, and staff, and all of those people on our campus. We don't outsource them. They're hired by our campus and are here every day. They do their own rounds around our campus and our buildings, and we also have an awesome system called the blue light system. And the way that that works is there's certain areas where there's like a station and a little pole with a blue light on it, and you just walk around and touch that. So if at any point you don't feel safe to walk from point A to point B, you just hit that button and a campus police officer will escort you wherever you need to go.
So the next space on the tour would be the Tompkins College Center. On campus, we just refer to it as the TCC most of the time. This is kind of like the student hub that we have on campus. It's easily one of the most busiest areas on campus. Not only does it hold our dining services, both upstairs and downstairs, but there are also a lot of different departments and offices here. So like the Career Planning Center is here, which is a great resource for students to be able to use not only as current students, but even after you graduate, it's still a resource that you're able to use. They do things like help with job searching and internship searching. They do mock interviews for students, so if that's a skill that you feel like you need to build upon, you would be able to meet with faculty in these offices to work on that. We also have the Guaranteed Student Employment Center program now, which is something we've had only within the last couple of years, but it basically says that any student who would like a job on campus is guaranteed to have a position. So it's been a great help for students that kind of need that extra financial support if they want to have a job here but don't necessarily want to go off campus. Another thing they have is the career closet. So it's basically lightly worn or sometimes brand new business clothing gets donated to the school, and students are able to go through, pick out what they might need for a job interview or an internship or whatever it is. And it's free, you don't have to pay for it, and you don't have to bring it back either. So that's one of the great resources that we have on our campus. And then another thing that's in the Tompkins College Center would be the Performing Arts Department as well as the theater. And those are some things that we'll kind of go more in depth with in a few minutes.
So heading into the Tompkins College Center, we have the first stop being Canova Commons. This is one of our dining options that we have on campus. Something that I love most about our dining option on campus is that it's forever changing depending on student needs. So something new that we have on campus, or a few things we have new on campus this past year, was a station where we have vegan and vegetarian options for our students. So there's a whole bar and a whole area dedicated for that, where there's an allergy section and everything is safe to consume for students of that dietary option. Up here in Canova Commons, we have a few different areas, as well as that we have the area where you can make your own sandwiches and salads and soup. We also have a little buffet section. And next to that, we have an area where it's kind of made to order, so there's a different special every day. And you will go up and get, maybe it's an Asian bowl or something fun like that. And that's kind of what's going on up in this area in Canova Commons. Once you head downstairs, we have what's called the Falcon's Nest, and that's where you can get more of those made to order things, such as a quesadilla or a cheeseburger or things like that. There's also pizza and quick service things. So if you're running from class to class, of course, we want you to be able to get some food in there before you go sit in your lab or something like that. So we have pre-made sandwiches and drinks and awesome stuff down there. Another thing that's new this year that's down on the other side of the Falcon's Nest is a new We Proudly Serve Starbucks area. That's been something that's been widely popular this year, and we have had students stopping there because they can use their meal swipes too. So it's nothing extra. And of course, I want to mention, just for you guys as incoming freshmen, it will be required that you guys have an unlimited meal plan, which just aids in you guys having the opportunity to try out all of these new spaces and not have to worry about a limited number of swipes as you have that crazy transition of going from high school to a college area, and maybe it's your first time away from home and things like that. So we don't want to add any extra burden, so you will have that unlimited meal plan to try all of our amazing options.
So like I mentioned, the Performing Arts Department is also in the Tompkins College Center. This specifically is our Samuels Theater, which is located on the ground level or second floor, whichever one technically it is. But so this is where we have all of our major theater productions. Typically we have 2 straight plays, 2 dance shows, and 1 spring musical every year. All of the sets, including the one that you see while we're scrolling through, are made by students that work at the school in our scene shop. So that's another employment opportunity. Well, one of the employment opportunities that we have. You can also work in the costume shop or work in the box office selling tickets for shows. Whether you're in the Performing Arts Department or not, those are opportunities that you have. Besides that, you can also be backstage for shows if you're not, necessarily wanting to be in a show, and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity here, especially within the Performing Arts Department. Besides that, in this theater, we also do have kind of like special performances or lectures that happen here. So sometimes the school will have comedians or illusionists or things like that come to the school to perform for us. We have guests from the community come in and talk to our first year students during our first year Friday seminars. And we also have Frolic in this area as well, which is basically like a talent show for all of the clubs and organizations. So they all get together and have a performance on the last day of every semester. And it's kind of a nice way for us to unwind and do something fun, you know, after stressing out over schoolwork the whole time. So it's really nice to be able to have that.
So now heading over to Lee's Lawn, this is another one of those amazing outdoor spaces that we have on our campus. Some things that we do out in this space is we'll have like a class Olympics. So we'll have similar carnival games outside, as well as holding Daisy Day and some other more carnival events like that, where everyone can get together and enjoy this space. Now heading over into our Lee's Lawn area, into the gym space from this section is, of course, the home of our volleyball and basketball team. So that's that court that you see in there. And of course, you can always utilize that. There's a pound class that they hold in that space, as well as a variety of other fun, interactive activities that you can go in there, even if you're not an athlete. Now, if you look over to that gym area, that's where we have awesome rec and wellness activities and opportunities. So even if you're not an athlete, you can always use this space. It's open 24/7 and it's accessible through a swipe access card for our students, and it's of course free of charge. It's all included in your tuition. In that space, it's not just for our students, it's also for our staff and faculty, as we've seen some of our admissions counselors like Amanda work out in there as well, and it's just an awesome opportunity to connect and be active on campus. Another space that this lawn connects to is it uses the parking lot C to connect to Alumni Hall. If you've come to campus for some of our events, this is most likely where you've been parking. Something that I wanted to mention over with the parking lot, because it's a parking lot, right? But something that our campus really offers to their students is free parking. So some campuses you'll have to pay to have a car on campus and park it, where we don't charge you for that. The only thing that we ask is that your freshman year, if you are a resident on campus and you want to have your car, we just ask you to stay parked over in C lot.
So in addition to this kind of area over here with the lawn is where our actual science building is on campus. So it's broken up into 3 different sections, really. The first one would be the Oberkotter Center, which we're about to see. This is one of the labs in the Oberkotter Center. So there are 2 main labs in this part of the building, a forensic science and a biochemistry one. There's also a lot of different chemistry faculty in this section of the building, as well as 1 main lecture hall. All of the different sections of the building have its own lecture hall, so that kind of makes it easier, like scheduling wise. One thing that I can note with these in this section specifically is our small class sizes. So right now, like this is a lab in the science center part of the building. And as you can see, there's a really small number of students in it. Typically, lab sizes only get to like 14 to 16 students. On average, lectures, your general like freshman classes like general chemistry and biology typically sit around like 60 or 70. But of course, as you go through your coursework and you go through your major, that starts to get smaller and smaller. My last neuroscience class that I took had 10 students in it. So it's definitely a good way to get to know your professors, to get to know your classmates, and things like that. So the second part of the building, like we just saw, is the biggest part. And then we have Miller Family Building, which is kind of made up of a lot of different departments. So it's got biology, chemistry, forensic science department is here as well. So those are like the 3 main chunks of the building. But it's really easy to navigate. There's signs telling you where to go since it is pretty much the biggest building on campus. But literally all of our science faculty, our classes and labs are in this building. And then more specifically, kind of just to talk about the science labs in general. If you'd like to, there are videos in here that you can see about our labs. This lab that we see right here is actually our organic chemistry lab. Shout out to Dr. Burke right there, doing a great job. But one thing that comes along with the small class sizes is getting that guaranteed hands-on experience, which is something I really valued when looking at a college. So within your first year, you know, when you're taking chemistry, biology, anything like that, you have that lab experience attached to it. And not only do you have the professor in there with you, but most of the time you also have a TA with you as well, a teaching assistant, who has taken the class before and is able to help you while you're in your lab. Besides, you know, getting that hands-on experience, students also have opportunities to participate in a research project as early as their first year. So whether it's independent research or it's the research project that's tagged onto the spring semester of the freshman biology class, it's an experience that every student, you know, whether a science major or not, gets to have, so that if that is something that you're interested in, then you kind of get that experience right when you get here.
So now we're going to head out from one of the places I'm almost always found on campus, in the lab, and we're going to head out to the second place where I'm most commonly found, being the Falconplex and our turf field. So here's where I'm going to talk a little bit about our Division III athletic teams. So just to have that list, we do offer soccer, field hockey, and cross country in the fall. And then we also have lacrosse, swimming, basketball, volleyball, which is in the fall, which I forgot to mention, as well as softball and track. So along with all of those teams that we have in our Colonial States Athletic Conference in the CSAC, we also have a swimming and diving team, which is in the Atlantic East Conference, Atlantic Athletic Conference. And something that I love that you just saw pictured on this screen is the soccer team. So of course I'm a field hockey player, but we all love to support all of our athletics and all of our friends on our campus. And something I'm proud to say about the soccer team is that they've made it into the conference championships for the past 2 years in a row. And that's something that can be true for all of our teams. So the field hockey teams made it to the playoffs each year, and the swim team was actually able to win our conference championship this year. So over in the pool in New York. So we got our medals in that big celebration, and even President Meade, who some of you guys may have met earlier, even jumped in the pool with us to join that celebration, and that was something really amazing to see. So really, if you are interested in participating in athletics and you want to be a part of a team that's really growing and continuing on that upward trend, and really with that possibility to win the first championship coming back into with that sport, Cedar Crest would definitely be the place for you to be able to participate in that. And if you're not currently an athlete, don't shy away from this opportunity, because as I mentioned earlier, I'm a part of both the field hockey and swim team, and I have never swam before until coming to Cedar Crest, and I didn't begin that until my sophomore year. And now I was able to win the championship with my team. So that's something that is so crazy, and it really gives you the opportunity being at Cedar Crest at that Division III level.
So the next area that we're in is our Alumni Hall building. So this is basically dubbed the art building on campus. The area that we're kind of panning around now is our capstone gallery. So this is where we'll have a lot of senior artwork displayed, especially within the spring semester. And then as we pan over, we'll see the auditorium that's in this building. So this is kind of our main auditorium space. It's bigger than Samuel's Theater, and it's usually used for bigger events, like admissions events will be held in here, or we'll have some of our traditions from the campus here, like junior ring ceremony, where you can be presented with your class ring, or convocation, which is the ceremony that we have that begins every single school year. And this is where you find out your destination for the sophomore expedition. And if you don't know about sophomore expedition, it is basically, well, not basically, it's actually a pretty big deal. But it's a guaranteed study abroad experience that we have at Cedar Crest that is all expenses paid, besides like any vaccinations if you need them, a visa if that's required, and your passport. but airfare, lodging, meals, everything like that is covered by the school. So it's a great experience to have. My class was the first class to go when we went to Rio, and it's also has like a service learning project attached to it. So like, yes, you're going to another country and it's fun, but you're also contributing something to where you're at before you leave. So for example, my class was one of the science classes. So we went into a neighborhood and had like a science project day with kids in one of the neighborhoods. The nursing students went into the hospitals and clinics. Education students went to the schools. So it can be attached to your major, or you can choose something completely different, but it's a really great opportunity that we have here at the school.
Right, so now we're going to be heading over to Hartzell Hall. This is the location of majority of the humanities professors' offices. So that's like your English teachers and your history teachers. And if you're a prospective science major or art major, you might be thinking, hey, like, why do I need to see this space? Because I'm not really that interested in history. But being as a Cedar Crest student, you're also going to receive a liberal arts education. So what that means is that you will be required to take a writing course, an art course, as well as those general history courses. So that all those offices can be found right in here. One of my favorite memories of being in this building is going over to my professor's office, Dr. Monahan's office, and she kind of has an office that has a variety of different like objects that may be a little strange and just goofy. And the way that she runs her classes is that if you want extra credit, you just have to come to her open office hours, because all of our professors have those and have open door policies. And you just head right on in. Of course, say hi to her when she's in there while you're looking around for something goofy. You pick an object and you write a single page, double spaced paper on it, and what that object, kind of why it spoke out to you and jumped out to you among the variety of different things in her office, and she'll give you extra credit for that history class. Some other things located, as you can see the signs for our pitch club, we have also a preterite club in this space that this is where they hold their meetings. And there's a variety of other clubs, not just with the humanities, that we have on campus. So as I mentioned before, the Student Activities Board is one of our clubs on campus that will provide you with trips to things like Broadway. They go to places like Philadelphia, and all of those awesome trips that you might not think you'd be able to do otherwise, as well as they hold events on our campus. And there's a variety of other clubs within different majors and different organizations that we have. One of our newest clubs, because something that Cedar Crest offers is that you can actually create your own club. And one of our newest club is the Asian Student Organization, the ASO Club. And something that they've done fun is that they held like make your own dumpling nights and make those little paper cranes that kind of seem like impossible to make. And they make it an awesome opportunity and activity for our friends. So that's really what Cedar Crest is about, is giving you the opportunity to, if you have an idea for a club or have an idea for even a major, you can all create it yourself.
So the next building that we're going into is actually one of my favorite buildings on campus. This is the Allen House, which was actually recently renovated in 2017. This used to be the president's residence. And then when we got to this, well, when I got to the school, it was where we had like residence life and community service office. But after the renovation, now it has the Center for Diversity and Global Engagement. As you can see over on the wall, we have our diversity statement posted. And it basically says that at Cedar Crest, we don't look at diversity as just race and ethnicity, but also your religion, your socioeconomic status, your, your sexual identity, all kinds of things that go into it. So it's not just like, you're diverse if it's this one thing. So that kind of makes everyone feel included and lets people know that they have a community here. So some of the offices that are here are the Center for Diversity and Inclusion, which is an organization that does a lot of programming on campus, and it probably does the most programming out of every organization, and it kind of has something for everyone pretty much. So some of my favorite things are like the talking circles, which basically is when students of all different backgrounds come and give their opinion on some kind of controversial topic that they're having for that week. So things like that. This is also where we have the Office of Global Initiatives and a lot of international services as well. So the international students have access to their own advising and their own academic support, as well as the ISSP, which is the International Student Support Program, which provides support to international students, kind of helping them adapt to being away from home, but also allows them to speak to people who speak their native language, if that makes them more comfortable. So there's a lot of resources there. But other than that, you can, as you scroll through, you can see there are a lot of seminar areas in here for students. It's a really busy area. Students are able to come hang out, study, you know, do whatever they need to do. There's also a kitchen in this area, so if you want to come and cook, you can do that. If you don't want to be in your residence hall, and things like that. So it's a really nice space to be able to just come and hang out with your friends, pretty much.
Right, heading into our library and Student Success Center, we have an awesome space here for collaboration. So up on this main level of the library is where you'll hear some talking and laughter and just people discussing coursework. Very often I come in and you see the anatomy students with all of the whiteboards in a circle, drawing out the different structures of the human body and things like that. Up on this space, we also have our writing center, as well as our peer and professional tutors, which again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is all these all of these accommodations and things are free of charge and included in our tuition. So you just walk up, you can use as many tutoring hours as you want and just say, hey, if it's a peer tutor, can I sit down and can you help me with maybe this homework assignment, or can you further explain this to me? We also have professional tutors, as I mentioned, so you just make an appointment via a little like website that you'll find linked in their email and be able to have a one-on-one meeting with them as well. As you can see, there's more collaboration rooms. So when you close those doors, it is kind of like a sound barrier, which is really neat. Up here, we also have Dell computers, which is the typical computer that we have on campus. There is a classroom filled of Apple computers and desktops. So if you want to use that, you just ask permission from the IT desk, and they'll be able to let you into that space. We also, over in the further right corner, we have our professional advisors. So with your major, you'll be given a specific advisor for that. But if you would like any more help in that success piece and getting those grades and all of that fun stuff that you want in your college education, you can meet with them.
Okay, so for our residence halls, we have 4 main residence halls on campus. Those are Butts Hall, Moore Hall, Steinbright Hall, and Curtis Hall. Moore Hall is the one we're panning through now. This is the traditional freshman residence hall. Right now, the lounge that we're in was actually recently renovated in the summer of 2018, so it's still fairly new. It included new carpet, new furniture. This little study area that we're panning to now is brand new. So students are able to go in there. You can actually close the doors and it kind of silences some of the sound that comes from over in the lounge if students are watching TV over there or whatever it is. There's the new pergola that's out back that overlooks Cedar Beach Park, which is a beautiful view. I'm kind of sad I don't live in this building anymore. But it's nice for you to go out. You can study, you can talk with your friends, you can just go out and take in the scenery, you know, whatever you'd like to do, but that's out there as well. So like I said, Moore Hall is the traditional freshman residence hall. Steinbright Hall is for upperclassmen. And then there's Butts Hall, which kind of has a mix between the two. And then Curtis Hall is just one floor of upperclassmen honors housing, which Allie will kind of touch on when she gets there. But as you can see, yeah, there's the mounted TV, and all of the residence halls have a main lounge area like this with the couches and the TVs, and like some sort of area where you can sit and study. If you click on this icon over here, you'll actually be able to see pictures of a room from each of the 4 residence halls. So you kind of get an idea of what each of them looks like. So basically the basic layout of all of the rooms is that they all come with the basics: 2 twin size beds, 2 dressers, and 2 desks. Everything else that you put in your room just comes from yourself, basically. So you can add anything you want as long as it's not flammable or dangerous, pretty much. Um, so yeah, the size of the residence halls really just depends on where you live, if you have a single, a double, a triple, things like that. So there's a lot that kind of goes into the size question, but when you go onto the website, there's actually somewhere where you can actually see the dimensions of each of the rooms. So you'd be able to kind of gauge the size of the room on that. But yeah, that's kind of pretty much the gist of it. All of the halls come with Wi-Fi access. They're internet and cable ready. They have kitchen facilities, so every hall has either a small kitchenette on every floor, or like in the case of Butz and Curtis, because it's one floor, there's just one main kitchen that students can use. And we also have like vending machines, and of course like the lounges and the study areas for students as well.
So now we're going to head over to another one of our residence halls on campus, and this is going to be Curtis Hall. As well as it being the home of our honors housing, we have a variety of classrooms as well as offices in this space. The offices that you can find over in Curtis include your criminal justice offices, social work and education and mathematics, business, and all of those kind of classes and professors' offices. They're all going to be really found over in this space. In the specific room that you can see shown here, it's one of our, again, collaborative spaces on campus. I continue to use that word, but it's really what Cedar Crest is sought after for. We want to make sure that everyone has their own voice and is able to be heard. So you want everyone to be working together, because we feel that that is one of the best ways that you can learn, is through participation. Something else neat that we have in this collaborative type space that Cedar Crest kind of hosts is we're part of what's called the LVAIC system. So what that means is all included in our Cedar Crest tuition, we're able to take classes at other schools in the Lehigh Valley, such as like Lehigh and DeSales and schools around the surrounding area. And why that's kind of most important, at least in my opinion, is if you have an awesome research project and you want to be able to collaborate and have other schools in, that's an awesome opportunity for that, as you're allowed to also use their library and their resources that they have on their other campuses. Something else to touch upon while we're in Curtis Hall is right below us, down on the main floor, is we have our health services offices, and that's going to be home of our physical and mental health services. So there's going to be nurses and doctors and things like that in that space for our students to be able to utilize.
And then the last building that we have on tour is the Hamilton Boulevard building. So this is where we have our School of Nursing. Right now you're looking at the entrance of the building. So this is where you go, and then on either side of this entrance is the hallways where you get to the labs or the lecture halls, whichever one you're looking for. If you are interested in the nursing department, there is a video that you can watch here. If you click the icon that's in the tour, that will give you a much more in-depth view of the nursing program. But just to kind of give an overview, the program is equipped with many multimedia labs and simulation mannequins that are like really, really cool and really expensive. I know like my favorite one that I learned about was the one that actually simulates like mom and baby like giving birth. It's really freaky, but it's really cool that we kind of have those resources. There is functional like hospital equipment and things like that the students are able to use. And not only do we have the undergraduate like Bachelor of Nursing, we also have other programs such as the Doctorate for Nurse Practitioners. And this also holds our health science program as well. There's a bachelor and a master's for that. And there's a lab for health sciences that nursing students can use as well, and vice versa. So there's a lot of resources down here. It's kind of all centralized in one location, kind of like the science building. So anything nursing that you'd need would be down here. They work really hard with the students to kind of get them focused into their program. And as of now, actually, we have a first-time pass rate for the NCLEX of 100%. So, the nursing students are really working really hard, and that's definitely because of all the resources that we have for those students. So we're back here in the residence hall. Does anyone have any other questions about the residence hall specifically, since those seem to be where most of the questions are coming in?
So just for your question, Sarah, about the bed risers, as I can see that up here, we don't have any specific bed risers that we ask that you guys to use. It's all up to you. The way that the rooms typically work is that you can raise them about, I would say, maybe like a foot or a little bit more off of the floor. So you are able to get some storage under there even without bed risers. If you wish to bring your own, that's all up to you. We also have maintenance staff on campus that can assist you in raising your bed or lowering it depending your preference. And yes, Danielle, the beds are bunkable. The beds are unable to be lofted though, so you won't be able to fit your desk under there. In Moore Hall and some of our other residence halls, we have a desk with a really awesome space for storage right above it. So we just don't want those to be underneath of your desk, of course, rather your bed, of course, just for those safety reasons. I think I answered some of the other questions in this space. We do have specifically Moore Hall, the 3rd and 2nd floors, as well as the 3rd floor of Butts Hall, kind of set aside when our regular students or current students are doing housing selection, just to make sure we have those spaces for freshmen. We do typically ask our first years and have them stay in an area together so that we're facilitating those conversations and allowing you guys to all meet each other and make those friendships. On our campus, we do have an awesome guest policy. So although we are all girls, we do allow different visitors and different guests on campus as you wish. The way that our guest policy works is we just ask that, of course, as you have a roommate, you fill out that roommate agreement form. And as long as you both agree that it's okay to have this guest over, they are able to come over. You just fill out a form through the My Cedar Crest website, and they're able to stay up for a maximum of 2 nights in a row. And then they, of course, take a break as they're not paying to live in the space as you guys are. So we just want to make sure that that's all fair. As I touched on a little bit before about roommate selection, you will most likely have a roommate coming into Cedar Crest. I know that sorry, I'm stuttering. But I know that may seem a little daunting at first, as some of you may have your own rooms at home, but it's actually can be a lot of fun. If you don't have a specific person that you met on a tour that you wish to room with, or you really have that person that you've met so far, there's a form that you'll fill out again through that My Cedar Crest website that will be able to best match you with a new roommate. I didn't have a roommate coming in right away, and I was able to fill out that form and get matched with actually a field hockey player, so someone even in my sport, which was kind of random and kind of awesome. So they do definitely try and match you guys as best as possible to have that enjoyable experience. And if for some reason that doesn't work out, there's resident advisors like myself to be able to mediate those situations and be able to, again, get you moved into a room with a roommate and an awesome friend that's going to be able to help you and make that first year of college enjoyable for you.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, I actually met my roommate before coming to Cedar Crest. We met actually through the class of 2020 Facebook page. So, we talked over that summer, we moved in together, got along fine, roommate agreement was great. And it's very unlikely that if you choose who you want your roommate to be, that you won't be put with them. So either way, you're going to be rooming with someone, more likely than not that you do get along with. So, that's not really a problem that we have here. But like Ali said, if it does get to the point where you might need to room with someone else, then we do have options for that case as well.
I was just typing in here. Sorry, you can kind of see me being a little weird. But just in reply to Caitlin's question, Also, shout out to Caitlin, you're a field hockey recruit and from a town close to mine. You are able to be assigned or have someone prior. That's completely up to your preference. If you meet someone and you guys really get along and you want to try it out living together and you might feel more comfortable that way, then awesome. You can write that down on your form that you would like to have this individual as your roommate. If not, just don't be afraid filling out that form and having a roommate that you may not know. Even if you're going in without having a roommate and you do choose to fill out that form, they're going to give you the opportunity to have the email address of your future roommate and be able to contact them at least 2 weeks prior to moving in. Usually it's a little bit more than that with the current situation that we're in. It may be a little different, but you will have that opportunity with at least 2 weeks prior to moving in to be able to contact your roommate and kind of get to know one another. Awesome. So I don't think you guys have any more questions over there. So with that, we just wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining us on the tour. I know me and Tiasha really enjoy getting the opportunity to talk to you guys and answer your questions. So again, just thank you guys for joining us. We will be staying around a little bit if you guys would like to ask any more questions regarding any of the other spaces on campus or even just what it's like to live on campus and what everyday life is like. So we'll just be hanging around for that if you guys need.